So don't think that just because you slept with 175 women that's not appealing, because even if you are experienced, that don't mean you can please a woman.
Y'all not ladies. So who the put y'all in charge of what is ladylike?
I really feel like women and men should date on their level. If you know you can't afford her, don't go after her, because ain't nobody finna down their lifestyle to be with you.
Stop asking black women what they bring to the table when they are the whole table in the empire.
But this is the thing. If you want a handout, then you need to be with somebody who has something to hand to you. You are a queen, and as a queen, you need to be with somebody who can afford to support you when your crown is tilting. I support that. I take issue with people making it seem like a man is less than a man because he cannot meet your expectation and your need. But dare he call you less of a woman for not meeting the traditional things that he would expect as a man.
All right, y'all, a little bit of house cleaning before we get started. For those who've been rocking with me from day one, I appreciate the support. For those who may be new here, coming in or out the door from me, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. Every bit of your engagement helps promote me into the YouTube algorithm. I thank y'all for the support. Now let's get to it.
So don't think that just because you slept with 175 women that's not appealing, because even if you are experienced, that don't mean you can please a woman. It's about you trying to learn who you're dealing with. That is the quality. That is what women want. Women want the quality.
You sure about that? You sure about that? Sure, women want the quality of experience. Now I have a question for you. How do men get the experience? You want to talk about that? They get it by being with quite a few women, right? And who set that standard that the more women a man beds down, the more valuable he is? It wasn't men, because men don't control access to sex. Women do. So you're complaining about a standard and an expectation that women set, that women have for men. Men don't have this expectation or standard for themselves to bed down as many women as they can. Sure, that might be ideology of men who want to conquer sexually, but who sees that as valuable? Because let me ask you this question, right? If men did this, like they just went on conquest to bed as many women down as possible, and women said, well, we don't find that appealing, we don't find that something that we see as valuable, then do you think men would still do it? I guarantee you they wouldn't, because it has no value to women. So men only want to gain this experience because they know it helps them with the ladies. So you're complaining about something, you're complaining about an outlook that women who share your reflection have. So I would say stop projecting this mentality onto men and start going back to the sisterhood and talking to your fellow sisters about why they think how many women want and find a man sexually attractive makes him valuable.
Go on.
That's a question you should have asked instead of posting this pathetic little attempt to shame men as usual. Let's go to the next one.
I have a question.
All right.
For me.
We listening?
Y'all not ladies. So who the fuck put y'all in charge of what is ladylike? How do you know what ladylike is if you are not a lady?
Fool.
Fantastic question. And you know what? She's absolutely right. She's absolutely 100% correct. Now, on the flip side, I have an opposing question. What gives women the lane or the room to always, and I know for a fact, we see this all over social media, always tell men what a real man is?
Gotcha, bitch.
Ooh.
Hello, stupid. Yeah, hello, stupid.
That's a question I would love to ask you, ma'am, because you stood up there with your whole chest forward saying men cannot tell women what's ladylike, but y'all constantly tell men what real men are. And surprise, surprise, it's always a benefit that correlates directly to something that you gain from. You always have this idea and critique of what real men are, But now if a man says that's not ladylike, then how the F would you know because you're not a lady? Now how the F would you know what a real man is because you've never stepped in the foot of masculinity? Oops. Well, pseudo-masculinity with a lot of y'all, but you haven't stepped in the shoes of real masculinity. So how do y'all have, with your whole chest puffed up, telling men constantly what a real man is? Huh? Maybe that's something you should thought about before you post this pathetic excuse for shaming. Again, another shaming tactic of the clapping hyena clan. That's all this is. Let's go to the next one.
We feel like women and men should date on their level. Because if you know you only can afford Applebee's and Red Lobster, why are you trying to go after this woman that you know she want high-end restaurants? She want to go to State 48. Like, we got to start making this stuff make sense. If you know you can't afford her, don't go after her because ain't nobody finna down their lifestyle to be with you. And that's just straight up.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
My first question would be, what animal did that coat come off of?
You want to be famous? Bitch, I can't call it.
Because it looks like some purple and some gray and I don't know what other color what hue that is. But my first question would be, where in nature can I find an animal that has that fur? Since we're being bourgeois and want to talk about what you can and cannot afford. Again, when I see women like this, I think of two things, always two things. The first thing is you grew up incredibly poor. This is a poverty mind state. And the second thing is, I know you got your idea of how rich or wealthy people live and the things that they acquire with their wealth from media, from watching whatever, because you look fairly young, so I can't say TV, or maybe social media, or wherever you got this concept of what rich living or a rich lifestyle is. So you grew up poor and you grew up fantasizing from social media the rich lifestyle, because only a poor person would think acquiring goods that depreciate in value as soon as you buy them makes you somehow synonymous with wealth when you just look tacky. You just look tacky. You can flaunt all the Chanel bags and the crazy looking fur coats and the gold chains and jewelry you want, but no one is going to think you're wealthy. You're not fooling anyone. Everyone can see you're just a poor little black girl trying to play rich. Sad, man. Let's go to another one. All right, y'all going to see a noticeable change from one day to the next. This video, I felt it was necessary to re-record. I had the second half full of glitches and my software was acting up. That's why you'll see me in two different outfits from one day to the next. I felt the first part was actually pretty decent and I wanted to keep that content. So I just bridged these two parts together. So if you notice it, then you're being notified by me that it is a noticeable difference because I recorded them from one day to the next. And the second part wasn't, I wasn't able to salvage it because of the software errors. So without any further ado, here's the second part of my video. Let's go. Let's get it. Drop it.
Stop asking black women what they bring to the table when they are the whole table in the empire and all you bring is stress, delusion, and problems. Here we go with the comments.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
This was nothing more than gaslighting. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He set about in attempts to try to go viral. He wanted to have a moment and he's seeking attention because he's a panderer, apparently. I'm glad you didn't go viral because you knew when you posted this crap that it was nonsense. You know, how dare you try to gaslight people into a position that you know is full of shit. Saying that black women are the table and the empire is nothing more than saying that black women are deities. You know damn well it's nonsense. And when men are asking what you bring to the table, it's not what you bring to the table far as making my life better. It's what you bring to the table that's intangible. Things that I want or expect from a woman. Femininity, submission, cooperation, agreeableness, nurturing, caring, the ability to build a household with me and not interrupt my peace This is what men ask when they say, what are you bringing to the table? You know what men are asking. You just did this in an attempt to try to gaslight men because you wanted to have a viral moment. And I'm glad you didn't go viral, because what this was nothing but a sad attempt by even sadder panderer to get attention. And by the way, when you do this type of pandering, you know women don't find that attractive, right? You know they're not gonna flock in droves to throw their panties at you. You're just doing this basically for attention and validation from a group of women who probably don't find you attractive to start. Sit your ass down, grow up, and go find something else better to do. Let's go to the next one.
A lot of people said this. And I also saw a baby girl commented and said a lot of women want a handout. But this is the thing. If you want a handout, then you need to be with somebody who has something to hand to you. And that is my issue with this conversation. There's nothing wrong with being in a relationship and wanting the man to provide financially. If that's what you want, then that's your thing. At the end of the day, you are a queen, and as a queen, you need to be with somebody who can afford to support you when your crown is tilting. I support that, but this is my real issue with this conversation, and I got to talk about it, especially because it's Men's Health Awareness Month. I take issue with people making it seem like a man is less than a man because he cannot meet your expectation and your need. That does not make him less of a man because he has less to offer than what you are requesting. That makes him not the right man for you, and there's a difference. So when you sit around and try to make it seem, oh, you really not a dude, you're not doing what a man's supposed to do. No, he can't do for you what you want him to do for you, and that means he's not the man for you. But when you are questioning his masculinity, when you are trying to make him seem like he's less than, when you are trying to make it seem like he's not meeting the need that he is supposed to meet as a human being because he can afford to give you what you are requesting, you have messed up. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with him as a man. That means you have made the wrong selection and you need to move on to the next. That's two different things. But dare he call you less of a woman for not meeting the traditional things that he would expect as a man. Y'all not ready. Y'all not ready.
I bet y'all won't tone police him. I bet I can guarantee you that none of you went to this post and told him it's not what you say, it's the way you say it. Because this is a guy that's supposedly one of y'all allies. This gentleman appears to be part of a community that y'all wholeheartedly support. Now, what are you going to say to him? Are you going to police him on his tone? Are you going to say that he's bashing black women? What are you going to say to this gentleman here? That's my question, because this guy comes from a position of being supported by black women. So with black women supporting this gentleman, and his message is, you cannot come down on men because they don't meet your financial expectations and then attack their masculinity. What are you going to say to him? And I'll tell you what they're going to say. Nothing. They were quiet as church mice in the comment section. They were quiet. They were so quiet you can hear a mouse pissing on cotton. They didn't say a word in his comment section. You know why they didn't say a word in his comment section? Because they knew he was dropping facts. And it took someone like him to say this to y'all, that y'all always question a man's masculinity and always link him to someone in this community when he can't meet your expectations, when it simply it should be a simple case of walking away. This is not the guy for you. But see, you can't do that because you know your expectations are unrealistic. You know your expectations are rooted in delusion. You know your expectations are nothing more than the things you want that you cannot provide for yourself. That's all this ever is about. Entitled people who grew up poor, who don't have much, expecting someone to come along and save them from their own situations and condition. You want someone to come along and save you from your own lifestyle simply because you have a vagina. You think you're entitled to certain lifestyles because you're pretty, because you may be attractive. You're not entitled to anything you haven't earned. And I applaud this gentleman wholeheartedly for coming through and telling y'all what needed to be said. Questioning a man's masculinity solely based on the fact that you have expectations, financial expectations, because it's never an expectation of character. It's always financial and lifestyle expectations. I never hear you say you want a man that's loyal, you want a man that'll protect you, that'll cover you, that'll bring things like leadership and foresight and forethought and the ability to protect you from yourself. I never hear anything about morals and standards. It's always fiduciary things. And this needed to be said. I am glad this gentleman said this. I'm glad he made this post because y'all are quiet as hell. With reason. That's all I got, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, get it cracking in the comments. I'll catch y'all in the credits. 2 fingers. Peace. I'm out. Like Jesus.
I don't ask for much from you. It's like you don't got the time to lose. Made me feel like I'm a burden.